Hello, everybody. This is Sam Carchidi and Chris Maher from the Wells Fargo Center. The Flyers had a 5-3 victory tonight over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Both teams depleted by injuries. And, Chris, I don't think anybody's going to get carried away by a 5-3 win over a lowly Blue Jackets team, but there were a lot of encouraging signs tonight.
No, for sure. I mean, especially from, the last couple of games where, the younger players for the Flyers kind of stepped up. You saw the Van Riemsdyk line kind of carry those guys a little bit, and a couple of them were able to get on the score sheet and kind of take over the game a little bit. It kind of got lost a little bit for the Flyers where they went down 2-1. But they kind of got that back, and they kind of just kept that going throughout the rest of the game.
I really love the play tonight of Morgan Frost. Morgan Frost had one goal. Owen Tippett had 2 goals, including an empty net goal. Of course, they were on the same line with James Van Riemsdyk, as Chris just mentioned. And Travis Konechny had a tremendous game with 2 goals. But Morgan Frost, we know about Konechny. Konechny's having a great year. He's got 14 goals in 27 games. Last year, he had 16 goals all year. So incredible turnaround by Travis Konechny. But let's talk about Morgan Frost. To me, he's making plays. He's his stick handling, his creativity is at a much higher level than we've seen. He's taking more risks, and he's making things happen out there. Talk about Morgan Frost's game, not only tonight, but in the last few weeks.
No, for sure. I mean, I feel like most of what Frost has been able to do is just play confident. He said it himself, post-game, and on Konechny, he mentioned, he's like a bundle of energy. I think Frost can kind of be like that sometimes, too, with the way that he plays. It felt like when he scored that goal against New York, the actual shot that he got off, that was probably the actual first goal he scored like that, where he just got his shot off, which was a big thing that they talked about going into this season, was his shot and kind of getting that back. And, when he scored that, I kind of had like a sigh of relief a little bit, because finally one of them went in. Usually it's either a save or it's blocked, whatever. And, him being able to score that, I thought was good, and just, going off of the 4-point game from Arizona. But, I mean, in general, he's a creative player. He has all the tools. I mean, I've said this. I know you've said this too. Just in general, I mean, he's a guy that, he's 1-year deal, $800,000. Everybody talked about, how much they're going to need him to kind of figure out his game a little bit and just be consistent. I think the first couple of months, it kind of felt like he didn't get as much of a chance to kind of play this high in the lineup. And now that he is, he's getting those chances, getting the bounces too. And, just in general, he's been able to actually produce consistently. And he's got, goals in back-to-back games. And just in general, that line's played well.
Yeah, he's got 3 goals now in the last 5 games, and it just seems like he's taking over, whereas you didn't see that earlier in the year. And he looks like the player, we saw some of it on the junior level, but I'm not comparing the NHL to the junior level.
Right, yeah.
But in the AHL, he was very, very good in the AHL, and we really haven't seen that in the NHL until these last few weeks. And the Flyers have to be real happy with the young guys. All 5 goals tonight were scored by players 25 and under. And for those wondering about Kevin Hayes, he played a little over 14 minutes, had 5 shot attempts, 3 on goal, and Torts was a little testy at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit when he was asked about Kevin Hayes and what he thought about Kevin Hayes' performance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, basically he kind of gave that standard answer we were expecting, right? I mean, he wasn't going to go too into detail of Hayes. I think everybody kind of understands the situation. But yeah, I mean, look, for Hayes, he's coming off of a game. He disagreed, obviously. I don't think any player wants to be sat. But, for him, it was just more of just, coming out and just kind of playing. I don't think there was much of a real, reason for him to kind of be, happy or mad or anything like that. It was just more of, Hayes just disagreed with it, and that was really it. I mean, I think, for him, I think he understands where he's at and where, Torts kind of expects him to play and the standard that he should be playing at.
And for those who don't know, who didn't see the interview tonight, Torts said that, the media is just trying to stir things up. No, the media is not trying to stir things up. The media wanted to know what he thought of Hayes' performance tonight. And Hayes, I thought, he was okay. He just, he wasn't extra assertive, but he was in the middle of some scoring chances. And, he had sat out the previous game, and I think we'll get back in the flow of things. But, Hayes has been a really good player for this team this year. Defensive lapses aside, and we should say, many of the players on the Flyers have had defensive lapses. So, but anyway, Torts did not want to talk about that. He did talk at length about the young guys and how they contributed tonight. I thought Tony DeAngelo, not that he's a young guy, he's not that old. He's 27, but he had a really good game tonight. He had 6 shots and was in the middle of a lot of different things. And I liked the pairing tonight. They paired DeAngelo and Sanheim, and they combined for 10 shots, and they combined for almost 50 minutes. If you look at the minutes and the trust that Tortorella had in them, they were the number 1 pairing tonight. I mean, everybody looks at Provy and Ristolainen as the number 1 pair, but the bottom line is the minutes that you play them.
Right.
And clearly tonight, Sanheim and DeAngelo had the trust of the coach, and they were the number 1 pairing. And the last pairing, Cam York, I thought had a
York
tremendous
since coming
game.
up has been really good. I mean, he's got point. I think he has 6 points since coming up, goal and 5 assists, I think.
Pairs of assists tonight. Yep.
Yeah. Again, the 2 assists tonight, like you just mentioned. I mean, he's been good. I mean, I think the way that, one thing I've noticed is the way that he's moving the puck up the ice. He's kind of changed his body angle a little bit. He's kind of more towards the play instead of off of it. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you put it side by side, you'd be able to understand it better. But I think a lot of what he's done too has just been he just looks so confident, and he has that in him. He said in the Colorado game when he scored, he kind of had to show the forward a little bit. He was, which is a good thing. You want to see that from, a young guy in the league, and I think part of it too is, I think we kind of forget sometimes, like, fans, media, whatever, like, he's only played a little bit over 30 games. I mean, he hasn't really played a lot in the league.
He's 21 years old.
Yeah, he's real young, and he hasn't played a lot.
And he's been playing on the offside this year.
Yeah.
Since he's been called up tonight, they moved him to the left side, his natural side, and Justin Braun, the KG veteran, was on the right. And I think that's a good match. I think that's the way it should be. And I like the way the defense played tonight. And it got a little hairy towards the end. There was a late goal given up, and it cut the lead to 4-3. And then Tippett had the empty net goal. But all in all, pretty good effort by the Flyers.
No, for sure. I mean, obviously, you get Wade Allison back in lineup too. It was, he wasn't much of a factor scoring wise, anything like that. But Torch talked about him as well. Just played kind of straightforward, which is kind of what he's been wanting from Allison for most of the season. So I felt in general, again, it was just a good game. Overall.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, Allison had missed 6 weeks because of the oblique injury and the hip injury. So, they're going to bring him along a little slow. He can expect some rust, but, he looked fine out there. So the real test will be their next game. It's an afternoon game, so if you're a hockey fan, make sure you get ready for a 2 p.m. game. Very unusual to have a 2 p.m. game in the middle of the week. So Thursday at 2 o'clock, they play Toronto. That'll be the real test for the Flyers. And then they have Carolina. Those are the 2 games before Christmas. They play. They have a 5-game road trip coming up. This was actually the last home game of the calendar year. They have Toronto. Then they have Carolina. Both those games on the road before Christmas, and then they go to the West Coast because Disney on Ice is here at the Wells Fargo Center, and they play San Jose, LA, and Anaheim. 2 of those games look winnable. The next 2 games are going to be tough to win, Toronto and Carolina. But as Torch said today, you just want to see development, and tonight you did see that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, again, like you mentioned off the hop, all guys under 25 scoring. I think out of the whole calendar year, I think there's been 44 home games that they won 15 of them. So at least they end off 2022 with a good note and a win.
Right.
But again, like you said, I mean, they developed. And again, Columbus is a team that struggled. I thought the one thing they did well tonight, too, was for as much as they could, they were able to limit the Gaudreau, Line and Johnson line to, some chances, but nothing too crazy. And overall, they were able to pick up 2 points.
Yeah, Johnny Gaudreau, the South Jersey product, had an assist, was -2. Eric Robinson, also from South Jersey. In fact, him and Gaudreau played together in high school. He picked up an assist. But as you said, they had some good moments, Gaudreau and his line with Line and they really buzzed in the beginning. I thought the first half of the game, second half of the game, I think the Flyers really contained them. But But we are here after all home games, and Chris, I want to wish you happy holidays. Want to
too,
wish
Sam.
all our viewers out there happy holidays. Thanks for joining. This is Sam Carchidi and Chris Maher from the Wells Fargo Center after the Flyers defeated the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-3. Good night and good hockey, as the late, great Gene Hart would say.